guys, Katrina here and as ever Wheelie. Welcome back to my channel. Well, it's been a while since I started filming for my How I Do Stuff series, and I'm finally going to finish it today. I had intended to finish it a lot earlier, but with what happened in our house, as you know if you follow this channel, it got put back quite a bit. But in today's video I'm going to show you how I cook and what adaptations I have for cooking, and also what equipment I have for cooking as well. Now, my kitchen is not an adapted kitchen, it's just a standard kitchen with a few items in it that make things more easier for me and for my dad as well, like for example my dishwasher. So enjoy. So most of the time when I'm doing my cooking, I use this Silver Crest grill. It's a bit like a George Foreman grill, but it's a quarter of the price. You're not really just paying for the name on those things. This thing does the exact same thing. I would use this for frying stuff, say like sausages or chicken. I just open it and put the chicken in using these tongs, and then close the lid down and leave it for about 10 minutes and check it and turn it obviously with the tongs. I can also use the cooker, but it's a little bit more dangerous for me because I'm sitting down in my wheelchair. I can splash up in my face. As you can see, this is just an ordinary cooker. It's not an adapted one. As I said before, this kitchen is a normal kitchen, basically. But to put stuff in the oven, I just wheel up alongside it as so. I know I'm cutting my head off here, and then open the door and put stuff in. And I also have this nifty little trick for lifting hot things out of a boiling pot. So for example, if I'm cooking pasta, I will put the pasta in this metal cauldron. This trick will also work with those metal inserts that you get with a deep fat fryer, especially if they're round like this is. But what I do is I fill this with pasta and obviously fill the pot with cold water and put the pasta in the colander, and then I would put the lid on top of it and wait for it to boil. And once it's finished boiling, I would just lift the colander out, let the water drain out of it, and then serve the pasta. And then I would wait until the water had cooled down enough so that it was safe enough for me to lift without burning myself. I have burnt myself a few times on this, but that's just me clumsy. Another thing that we have that we both use sometimes is one of these metal stools. It's called a perching stool. As the name suggests, you just perch it beside wherever you want to do something, and then it lifts you up a little bit higher. But I find this really uncomfortable, so I prefer just to use my wheelchair. Now, another item that I find really useful is this electric tin opener. I don't think they make this particular brand anymore, but if I find one, I will put a link to it in the description. But it is a finger saver for me. Before I got this, the amount of times that I've dislocated fingers trying to open the tin was shocking. To operate it, this comes up, it also comes off to be washed. And then you just line the tin up with this little bar or bracket that's sticking here, and make sure that the blade is in the inside of the rim. And then you push that down and it stops automatically when it gets to the end, and it also holds on to the tin so that it doesn't drop it and spill things everywhere, which I think is really cool. It also has a bottle opener on it as well, not that I use that much. This is a tea trolley that we both use to carry our food in, because with my dad being on crutches and myself being in a chair the majority of the time, it can be difficult to carry stuff. So what we do is just put our food on this, and then either one of us will wheel it into the living room and we'll have our dinner there. Plus, if you're carrying hot things, you can hurt yourself by spilling them if you're trying to carry them if you're in a chair. Trust me, I've done that before and it's not nice. Now, as you can see here, we do have a normal fridge freezer, but if you're on medication that needs to be kept in the fridge, say for example chemo medication, as my dad is going to start, and diabetes medication as he has now, can often overtake the fridge, leaving no room for the food. We had to go and buy this little mini fridge. I believe it's actually for a caravan, but it does us just fine. My dad keeps all his stuff in there, and if I ever got stuff that needs to be kept in the fridge, which I have had in the past, I can put it in there too. Now, on really bad days for both of us, it is impossible to cook by ourselves, so we would use the microwave and get some ready-made meals. There is a great company called Wiltshire Farm Foods, and they are a bit expensive, but their food is really nice, so we sometimes get from them. Now, some people think of a dishwasher as a luxury, but trust me, if you have a disability or a chronic illness and you're like us and don't have an adapted kitchen, it is a necessity. In our last place we didn't have the room for this, never mind the fittings for it. So the amount of times that I've dropped stuff and broken stuff is shocking. I even managed to almost stab myself in the foot one time. I'd dropped a knife when I was washing it, and it went through my shoe and hit my leg brace. I didn't hurt myself, but this is just as well I had my leg brace on, or I would have stabbed myself in the foot. Honestly, these are not as expensive as people think. It is way more expensive to get an adapted kitchen than it is to buy one of these and get the fittings installed for it. We got this for around £100, and we got some money off it because it's damaged. It has a ding on the door, as you will see in a minute. As you can see, it's only a little bit of a ding, but as long as it works, I couldn't really care less. It doesn't matter how it looks to me. What I just do is just open the door, making sure it's not on already, and then as you can see, it's already got some dishes in it, but once it's full, I'll turn it on and leave it to do its thing. That's the top part. And if I have difficulty bending down, I use my helping hand from one of the first videos in this series to put stuff in it and take it out again. I would also whack all the cooking utensils, pots and pans and stuff in there if there's space, and if they're not too big. If they are too big, I would just wash them by hand. It came with this handy little basket for the knives and forks and the small items. If there are any small items, I've just put one of these two covers over one of the sides, and then that keeps it in, keeps it getting stuck in the dishwasher. Another thing that I use my trusty helping hand for is getting stuff out of high cupboards. Say for example, this is where we keep all our cups and my water bottles. If I wanted a cup out, I just stick it through the handle of the cup and lift it down gently, as so, and then to put it back in again once it's been washed, I just do the same really. Then put it back up, get the stand, there you go, and then close the cupboard door.
Most of the time I would drink cold drinks like water or juice. I would use these little water bottles. I have a whole collection of them to carry them in because I find it easier and I don't spill it all over myself. But on the rare occasion that I do have a cup of tea or coffee, I would use one of these travel mugs, A, because it stops me from spilling it and roasting myself with a cup of tea, which I've done before, and B, because it helps to keep the drink warmer for longer. I'm not really a big tea or coffee drinker, so I don't really drink it that much, apart from when I'm not well or have a cold or something. I always find it helps me out a little bit. We did used to have an item called a kettle tipper, but unfortunately that broke and I haven't had time to look for a new one. It is a really good thing to have. We had ours for years, and it finally gave up on us. So at the minute we're just using the ordinary kettle. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give me a like, a thumbs up, or a comment, and if you're new, please subscribe. And also, if you're new, please remember to hit the notification bell, as YouTube does not notify you when I upload a video unless you hit the notification bell. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.